Good afternoon, Quasar Markets Live. I am so happy to be joined this afternoon by a head coach, the person who gives me settles my calm nerves on a day when the markets are down like they are now, Agneiszka Wood. Agneiszka, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. Thank you so much. Despite the cold weather here in Florida, I'm okay.
Okay, I'm in Boston right now. I don't want to hear about cold
Okay.
weather in Florida, okay? Although I will point out, as I've been, my father is making me point out to anyone who will listen, there's less snow in Boston than there was in Ohio when I left. So he keeps
Okay.
pointing that out as he's trying to convince the wife and I that we need to move back this way.
That's a good way to do that.
So Agneiszka, as you know, we've kicked off on Twitter, we've kicked off on LinkedIn and some other places today. We've been talking for a few months, but I wanted to sort of take a step back with us today and talk a little bit about some of the free things that you offer people to let them understand how important your mind actually is to trading and your mindset. And one of them that I am a huge fan of and use every day is your Trader's Good Habit Tracker. So
Right.
I was hoping that you could talk a little bit about your tracker. I'm going to put up the QR code for everybody so they can see how to get it in a few minutes. But I love this thing.
All right, thank you. So yeah, let's go a little bit back to why would you track your habits? Why is your mindset even important? Because a lot of times you think as a trader when you step into this, if I have a strategy, then I'm golden, right? And when things are not working, you go and you look for another strategy, because this is how normally things work in life. We just need a tool, we need some plan, and then once we start executing the plan, things should work.
Right.
And yes, that's true. But in trading, there is so much that's coming at you while you're trading. Triggers from the market, your emotions, your past experiences of losses, but also of wins that come into the equation. And then suddenly you might have a great strategy with good expectancy, but you are simply not able to bring it into practice, into life, and execute it on a consistent basis. And this is where you start really struggling with consistency. So a lot of people go into trading because they want to be free. They don't want to be told what to do. And unfortunately, trading requires that discipline. If you want to be consistent, which means if you want to do the same thing over and over again in order to get the consistent results, you got to be disciplined. And there is simply no other way to become disciplined than practice it. And that's where the habit tracker comes in, because if you want to understand what is it that you need to practice, what is it that actually makes a difference in your training, it's just like, with building muscles. Like it's not like if you want to build a muscle like in your upper body, it wouldn't make sense if you start training your legs, right? So in trading, that's the same thing. If you want to build certain skills, you need to know what is really actually influencing your results, what is influencing your process, and what makes you not follow your plan, what makes you, give into your emotions and do all the kinds of crazy things when you are in a trade. So
Right. No, and it is so important. So many traders, and I fell into this for years where, I understood what I was looking for. I understood the levels that I wanted to start trades at and exit trades or whatever it might be. But then once you enter that trade, everything speeds up. It's, I compare a lot to sports, as when it comes to trading and parts of it and poker. But it's like that quarterback where they say everything slows down. And you got to get yourself to that spot. You make too many mistakes. I've had the third educator that we've had on Quasar this morning, and that will all say the same thing, is that our mind gets in the way, and when you get into a trade, all the good intentions sort of can go out very quickly by one move on that, on that chart or one data point. So it is so important to get your mind right to trade right.
Right. And, it's I think there's also a lot of kind of vague ideas what that even means, right? Because you, as you said, and that's so true, everything speeds up. When you are not in a trade, you can tell yourself very logically what you should be doing, and when this will happen, you're going to do this. But then once you're in it, then everything speeds up, and that is because there is a lot of things that suddenly pops up in your head, like your fear, you don't want to lose money, like your memories, you lost money, like the
Right.
things, from years ago, you want to prove yourself right, you don't want to be wrong, you want to be perfect, you don't want to make mistakes, and like all these things, all those thoughts are coming in your head, and they just circle around and speed up, and that's what makes that whole noise in your head that is stopping you from actually doing what you should be doing. And that zone you were talking about in sport, that being in a zone is being able to switch off all that noise and actually focus on what is in front of you, plus being able to manage all those emotional triggers and those forces that the market is sort of throwing at you,
Right.
to handle those emotions, right? So it's not just thoughts. We have emotional triggers and we have mental triggers. So how do you deal with that? And are you even aware of it? Right?
Right.
Because
And
all
that's the
that things
biggest
is
part that for me I
influencing.
found was with your habit tracker is it made me aware to the influences that were affecting my daily trading that I didn't
Right.
think were that important, quite honestly. I would have called
Yeah.
myself a head coach skeptic on the first day. But really, this is what's going to
Yeah.
make this better. But as I've told you many times, is not only has it changed my trading life, but it changed my general life. And
Yeah.
that these things that you do, setting a good foundation for your day, following patterns that provide, the proper rest, relaxation, that work balance, whatever it
Yeah.
might be, are so important to being a profitable trader.
Yeah.
Again, I do want to point out, I put up the QR code for those that want to get your 10 ways to improve your consistency, which is your latest guide that you had put out. So I do have that up on the screen.
Awesome.
And then
Thank
on
you.
the screen, I do have the habit tracker. So
Yeah,
I
so
did
you
want to,
can get that on my website. Actually, if you go to my website, you can get both. You will see that on the homepage, and you
yep, I
scroll
have it
down,
all
you
right
can get
here
that.
for us,
Yes,
ready to
exactly.
see. And again, what I'll point out is all of the amazing reviews I actually wanted to start with on Trustpilot. I happen to be one
Thank
of them,
you.
not on the one on the screen. I'm a little disappointed by that. But as you know, I was so blown away that I went on and review for you because
Yes,
it has.
thank
I've
you.
been so much more successful in my trading. But more importantly for me, even was being happier in my trading. You know what I mean? And learning to step
Yeah,
away sometimes, to play with the puppy a little bit more, to spend more time with the 4-year-old, to just breathe once in a while.
yeah,
It becomes overwhelming with every data point we have coming in. How do we kind of separate that? So again, you offer 3 different great free guides here off of the website, as you were mentioning.
yeah. I do my podcast bi-weekly,
Yeah.
so you will see that. What I really, my intention is to help traders to, first of all, have a different perspective on trading to start with,
Right.
have build the right mindset, because it is not just about managing your emotions. And I think that's the biggest thing, that people think like, oh, I just need to manage my emotions, I need to control them. No, there is a really a mindset switch, because that freedom you're looking for is not in the money, that it's in your head. And as you're
Right.
saying, you have gained a lot of profit from just doing the tracker in your private life, is because it's the different way of thinking, being able to disconnect from trading, but not really from trading, is being able to disconnect yourself from the feeling of how worthy you are, depending on what you make or lose on a certain day. Because
Right.
trading becomes at some point this force that is just dragging you in, and the more you lose, the more you drag into it to try to make it back, and it does take over your life. And it does, to the extent where you're taking all this work and put it on the dinner table, and you cannot
Yeah.
really relax, and maybe sometimes even sleep. I mean, how many times I spoke to traders who were on an anti-anxiety medication because they just couldn't handle the stress, you know?
Absolutely. It's
It's a
so
very
important.
slippery slope.
Yeah, it's one thing that Big Beat always talks about, and his rules of trading even are the markets do move 24 hours a day, but we can't. And
Yeah.
that's what this sort of teaches you, in my opinion. This sort of gets you back into that balance of realizing things. And then, like I said, the other part for me was some things that I didn't necessarily correlate or think would correlate to my trading really did.
Yeah.
For me, journaling was the one that I brought up that I was so skeptical about because I'm not great at that type of thing. But, and again, one of the great things that you're so available to us here at Quasar and to all of your clients, you were like, well, wait, you don't have to do an hour and a half thing. Just jot down a couple of notes about your feelings. How'd your day go? How do you feel about your day? Maybe whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And, those were the things that I figured out. And there were things that people had told me for years, but I just ignored them. You had already talked about the fact that trading, that you figured out that after 2 hours, you were sort of done. You do your trading in a smaller time set.
Right.
And that's what worked for you. And everyone told me that. And I was like, nah, that's just not true. And then all of a sudden you start doing it and you start finding out that, no, it is actually true. Very true.
Because we do things from what we know and what we don't know. So something that is different is a lot of times scares us because we don't know how it's going to be if we do that, or we just have already an opinion about it, like I am not good in writing. And I'm saying it's not about writing. Like journaling is not about writing. Journaling is about becoming aware of what is going on in your head. We have about 70 to 80,000 thoughts a day. And there's a lot going on. And most of them are repetitive. And those repetitive thoughts are basically your habits. They will define what you do. And if you're not aware of them, like they will be really tough to change something. So you might try to, force yourself and say, okay, today I'm going to do it differently. But if you have no idea how you're writing that program in your head with your thoughts, then there is not going to be anything different. That's the problem. So journaling, like if you're not a writer, that's fine. Take your phone and record yourself.
Absolutely. And that's what I do.
It.
I record it on my computer, but I do it. It was so much easier to do it that way. In fact, I was teaching my 87-year-old father last night how to do that with his Apple iPhone. So, you can teach an old dog new tricks is actually you can.
And I mean, and you said it really, really fantastic. People told you, but you didn't listen. But then when you record yourself and then you listen to yourself, you might actually notice, and there is no one around. So it might come a little bit first, like, I don't want to know, but now you cannot deny it. You actually listen to yourself saying certain things. And I can tell you, when you listen to yourself, it's so much easier to spot certain patterns and certain things you are doing than when you are like inside. Like I cannot look at myself other than in a mirror, right? Or in a camera. So you have to have that other point of view at yourself to be able to see things that you normally don't see or don't want to see. And is it normal to deny it or to say, you know what, I'm just going to fix it myself? Yes, because you're an ambitious person. So why would you ask for help? But there are things in life, if you want to achieve them faster, and if you want to achieve them and you don't know what to do, you ask for help. Whether it's you go to ChatGPT or you go to the doctor to ask someone, or your friend or a coach, depending on how fast you want it. So the crazy thing is that in trading, a lot of people find it normal to go through years of struggle, and they think that this is what should happen because everyone is going through it. The problem is 95% of those people are not succeeding.
Exactly. That's the part. And that's where social media can become our worst nightmare, right? People put out this persona of success, this persona
Yeah.
of, the day trading is easy, that doing this is simple. You'll just, you just spend a little time. And if you don't get it, it's not the market, type of thing. And it
Yeah.
couldn't be further from the truth that
Yeah.
that it is not
Yeah.
simple.
So like, why do you like, okay, if you believe that you have to struggle, I mean, I assume you don't like that, but the result of that struggle, the numbers are showing you that this is not the case. So why would you believe that? And you won't believe that you can actually get there faster if someone helps you. You know what I mean? It's like,
Absolutely. No, yeah.
kind of strange.
Like I said, is a lot of us come kicking and screaming to these realities that you talk to your clients about on a daily basis. But it's at our own, mistake. It is, sometimes you really have to look inside and say, I had my formula right. I had everything set up for the trade, but I keep losing. And
Yeah.
what is causing it? And you have
Right.
to look inside because, as you've pointed out over our times together, a lot of times it is these obstacles we don't realize are within ourselves.
Yeah, and you cannot really blame yourself. And this is one thing that I really try to bring over and help people to build that and develop is self-compassion, because a lot of times you blame yourself for your mistakes, for things not going right, but you have to understand that you are sort of fighting against a Goliath, and you are not aware of what is happening inside. You have no chance. The thing is that we are always act to avoid fear, and your natural system, your protection mechanism, is going to protect you from that fear. And
Right.
unfortunately, in trading, you cannot rely on those natural mechanisms, because that is what keeps you stuck in the loser. That is what keeps you moving the stop or jumping out of the winning trade. You really have to sort of learn you have to unlearn those natural behaviors, and being able to exist in conditions that are not your regular conditions. Like, nobody likes to feel uncomfortable, but as a
Right.
trader, this is your working condition. You are always in uncertain and uncomfortable position, so you better get used to it. You know what I mean? Because if you keep trying to avoid it and looking for certainties and proving that you are right, you already lost.
Yeah,
There's just
without a
no,
doubt. I
you
mean,
can forget your success.
and that's what happens, right? We remember a lot of times, a lot of traders remember the losses a lot more than they remember the
Of
wins.
course, of
And
course.
another thing that I would bring up too, it's funny when you say it because I see it in action sometimes. Steve Big Beat has made it clear that he saw this downturn in the market coming a month and a half ago. He called for it. He said, "I don't know. I'm not trying to time it. I don't know what it is." And his result was that he changed his trading style based on that. And from there, he started taking profits quicker. And what I noticed is he didn't care. It was like 7 days in a row on the show. He hit a winner. Don't get me wrong, made money, but left a lot of dollars on the table, so to speak. Didn't phase the man in not for one iota. But that's a
Yeah.
professional trader who's learned to, over again 30 years, to handle his emotions and to understand that a thesis is a thesis, and that the outside, me making fun of him, not a nice person,
It doesn't
wasn't gonna
matter, right?
what didn't matter to him. And I don't
Yeah.
have that insulation yet personally in my,
Yeah.
in my trading. And I don't think a lot do. I did bring up your website again because I know that you told me it's going to be closing very, very, very soon, like even today.
Yes,
You do a
tonight.
3-month program with your clients. Could you talk a little
That's
bit
right.
about what the program is and how to sign up since it
Absolutely.
is going to be closing?
Yes. So this is the rise up of the profitable trader. And as the name says, I help traders who are now stuck in a losing cycle, in the vicious cycle of frustration and losing their profit. So, and help them to build consistency, build the right foundation for long-term consistency. So not just in 1 week or 1 month, and making sure that they actually can move on with being right equipped, with the right equipment, so to say, and also without the baggage that is influencing their decisions every day. So in 12 weeks, you are really going from a failing cycle to consistency. And it's a very intensive program because, as you can imagine, I pull you through it's quite significant process in 12
Right.
weeks. So yes, you would have to do the work. I do
I do
not
want to
offer
point out,
miracle
though, that again,
solutions.
one of the things that I love in our talks and that I've seen so much that I know is true is where we talk about educators here on Quasar Markets a lot. You're a coach, and that,
Right,
and it goes with your style. And when something that works for me personally is that you help people figure it out on their own, so to speak. Is that a
right,
fair way to
right.
put it?
Yes, and the way you can see it is I don't add to what you already know. I don't teach you like, okay, now you have to learn this by heart and just more and more and more, because there's like all the information is available on the market. You can go to ChatGPT, ask any questions, it will give you answers. You can read books, right? The problem is not knowing. Traders know what to do. The problem is they don't do it. So instead of adding more, what I'm hoping to do is to chip off those things that are not working and
Right.
becoming more, getting more to yourself, and to build the integrity so that you can do what you say you will. If you say, this is my plan, this is what I want to do, just like Steve, he doesn't care. He has a plan and he knows why he does it, and then he just executes it. And is it going higher? Could he have taken more money? Probably, but that's always in the market. And
Right.
having peace with that, that is a part of the integrity, having the peace with yourself. And this is not happening by adding more, it's by removing the things that are not working for you, that ego part, and those obstacles that stands in the way. So yes, I am helping you figure out yourself and the answers, but I help you to connect the dots and pointing out where the patterns are, and offering you the solutions that you can use to move on and leave that old period, so to say, behind, and finally have the life that you want, and have the freedom, not just in your financial freedom, but your mind freedom in your head, so
Yeah,
that you
that's what I
can
say.
be a happy
Yeah,
person.
not to use your term mindset, but it gets you in the, that's what it does is, and that's what's so important is even some successful traders are going to learn that balance better. So I do want to say, even if you're a successful
Yeah,
trader, don't think that this isn't going to help you, because I was a successful trader before I started it. But what it got to me was I can make even better decisions, but B, like I
right.
said, for me, it was about work-life balance and sort of figuring that out to make me happier. It didn't matter, again, dollars, zeros at the end don't matter sometimes if you're spending 24/7 worried about what MicroStrategy is going to do next.
Right, right. And money, you can always make more, right? It's
Yeah.
like money will never give you that satisfaction, but if you cannot find that balance, and having um, that grounding and confidence that you actually can stop for today, and you know that when you come back tomorrow you will execute your plan again, and it is not making a certain amount of money every day, because we're talking about consistency. It's having the confidence that you will be able to maintain yourself, and to maintain that performance over the longer term, and that when you don't make money, that you are not gonna completely get out of control and take out all the profits from yesterday, right?
Right,
So
which is the key. That's the biggest part is,
yeah,
there's so many traders that's how they crash out. It's one bad trade.
right,
As we talk about with new traders, sometimes getting lucky and, doubling a position or tripling a position that was
right,
losing, and it turns around, can be the worst thing that happens to you, because it gives you
yeah,
a false sense that is the way to trade the market.
yeah. And the you see the domino, I call it domino effect, because if you don't know how to stop that before that first domino falls, then once you're in the middle, it's all just it
You
plays
can't stop
itself,
the
and you
dominoes.
sit
They're too
there
heavy.
and yeah, and you sit there and you watch it, right? And at the end you go like, what just happened? Why didn't I get out of this? Why? because it's too late. You have to be really ahead of it. You have to understand what triggers you, how it triggers you, what is happening on the inside, and then be ahead of it so that you are in control. And I am not saying in control of your emotions only, in control of the situation, in control of yourself in a bigger picture. So, and that's why, like, people say how you live, that's how you trade. Because when you make the change for you as a trader, it will go and bleed through to your life. And how many times, people get reactive and someone says something and they blow up, or they say something that they regret later on. Just imagine if you can, not just in trading, but also in your life, be so much more in control, that you are able to take a moment and take a breath and decide how you want to respond to a situation instead of react. Because this is what it is about in trading. How do you
I just
respond
wrote
to
that
what's
down again
happening?
because I forgot exactly what it was, because it's one of the favorite things that I've learned from you is that responding to what is around us is the right reaction, and we don't
Yeah,
just
yeah.
react to what
Yeah,
happened.
exactly. Because reaction, that's this automatic, it goes from your automatic behavior. And, once you know how you want to respond and you start practicing that, you start changing your neural connections and start building your, that's why we have neuroplasticity. That's how
Sure.
you can actually change. Yes, it requires practice, because you have built your bad trading habits and your patterns for a long time as well. So yes, they are still dominant. And it doesn't mean that it's like overnight and boom, I suddenly have all new habits. No, habits need to be built. That's why you have a habit tracker to track your habit. It's not like, oh, one day I did it, I already have a new
Yeah,
habit.
no,
That
that
doesn't
isn't going to
happen.
work at all.
Yeah,
Well,
and yes, that requires discipline. And
it,
but it's a skill. Discipline is a skill. So is consistency. So is profitability. Those are the things that are not just showing up out of nowhere, coming at you, and you're like, oh, and now I'm consistent. No, it's a skill.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Again, her enrollment is closing down in under 12 hours. I
Yes.
do suggest you go to the website, check it out at aheadcoach.com. And if right now, maybe it is a little too quick to get in for this one,
But
download
you
the
can
free
always
materials.
schedule, yes, and then you can always
Absolutely. And I was
schedule a
both
call. Yeah.
yeah, schedule a call, because I was about to say you screen all of your clients to make sure that there are good, connections for what you're
Yeah.
trying to do. So I
Yes.
don't know any other coach / educator that does that either. It's usually sign everybody up, and if that doesn't work, we'll just
Well,
extend their subscription for free. So what
yes,
you do
right.
is definitely the way that you'd want to see a coach, look for clients.
Yeah, the thing is that, I always say, like, your success, like, I want you, if you work with me, you have to realize that I want you to be my success story. I don't want a client who doesn't succeed, because I do want all those great reviews. And that's how I get them, because I put 150% into your success. That's why my groups are not bigger. Like, if you sign up, it's maximum 12 people, because
Right.
I have a daily contact with you. I coach you every single step of the way. We have so much, it's a partnership. For me, it's a partnership. And success is not being built on your own. It's always a teamwork. So if you maybe think about your success as teamwork, just ask yourself, who is on your team right now? Or are you trying to get there completely on your own?
Right. And then, it's so much easier if you have a team around you. I can tell you that from someone who's lucky enough to
Yes.
have all of the educators and coaches here at
Yes.
Quasar Markets to give me
Yeah.
advice and
I
help
have a
over.
coach too. Like, I work with a team of almost 12 coaches
Yeah.
to help me grow as a human being, as a coach, as a trader. It's really, there is no shame in it. Actually, in fact, every successful person has a coach. Look at all
Yeah.
the athletes; they have whole team around them. So just
Absolutely.
trying to, you're attempting something like trading, which is, really challenging domain, and trying to do it on your own. It it doesn't make you strong. It's just makes you not taking the right decision, basically.
Absolutely. And I can tell everybody that you get so excited about the success of your
Can
clients.
you tell?
There's been, a half dozen days where you get on and I tell you how well I did with something and you're all excited. And then you go, oh, wait, well, listen to this. One of my traders is a funded trader and he has 18 accounts and he's up in all 18 and he just made this, this increase, like you said, it's a team and you definitely are the coach and you're more proud of your players probably than you are of your own successes. I can tell that for sure.
And that's true. Yes. Unfortunately, that's true. Yes. I take huge pride in, like the text that I would get from my students on a daily basis, showing the results. It's like, this is very, very fulfilling. And yes, I do trade every day. I make money with trading, but money is not the fulfillment. I can tell you that. And no matter how nice car I drive, it doesn't give me the same fulfillment as seeing that I have changed someone else's life. So
I'm with you.
Oh,
there.
and I also want to say, I did not even tell you that, but I want to add that starting this year, a head coach is contributing to a charity. So when you sign up for this program, the 5% of the fee goes to charitywater.org, who is providing access to clean water to families across the globe.
That's amazing. That's so awesome.
Yes,
if we can all give back a little bit, just think about how much better, hopefully, the world will be.
Yeah. So when people who have signed up already, actually through their contribution, each of them separately is contributing access to fresh water for a family of 6.
That's fantastic.
And my goal as a head coach this year is to provide enough funds to provide access to fresh water to an entire community.
That's amazing. And I hope we can
I'm
get you there.
excited.
That Quasar can be a little help in that, doing that. That's amazing.
Thank you so much.
I'll get Steven on. We'll get Big Beat in there somehow on that too. Maybe Quasar.
That would be amazing.
That would be amazing. There. Well, I know you're very, very busy. I don't want to hold you longer than normal here. Thank you so much, Agneiszka. And we will see you again on Wednesday at noon.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Howard, for having me. Thanks, everyone.
Oh, no, I did something.